Hi everybody, my name's Mark Puncher. I'm CEO and founder of Employer Branding Australia. We help fantastic imperfect employers attract fantastic imperfect people and most importantly keep them engaged and performing. Today I'm going to answer the question, so you've got an EVP, what now? There are three key things I'm going to share with you and ask you about. And the first thing I want to ask you is it really an EVP? Do you have an EVP? The truth is, even after all these years, EVP is still a bit the Wild West, and there's lots of people who have different ideas of what that EVP is. What I often see, where I think organisations think they have one but don't, is they may just have a list of benefits. They might have researched and looked at what matters to folks when they're in a job and a career, and they've just sort of delivered those benefits. That's not an EVP. The other thing I see is something where someone's maybe partnered with maybe a generic brand agency or some marketers in-house who have just created really a slogan or a campaign. That is not an EVP. A great EVP is a structural framework that helps you not only to articulate, but also to bring to life and to demonstrate why work here. What are the key themes, the key pillars, the key outcomes of working with you? If I spend 18 months, 2 years, 3 years with your organization in this role, in this team, what will I get? That's functional, of course, but it's also cultural and social, and underpinning it all, it's emotional. What will it do to my career? What will it do to my confidence? What will it do for my relationships? What will it do for my sense of fulfillment and that belief that I've made a difference? So a great EVP is a framework, a structural framework. And by the way, that helps you to sell, that helps you to inspire people to want to join you and maybe inspire people to stick around. But critically, it should also form a compass that enables you to say, well, this is what we need to consistently invest in and deliver if we want to attract great people and keep them with us. So first thing I do is really have a look at that. For what it's worth, we will focus on a clear narrative of the organization. Where have we come from? Where are we today? Where are we heading? And what does that mean for our people, current and future? We will also have a structural framework with those core pillars. We will then have a brand device. It starts with what we call a lead line, a careers lead line, which really headlines our story and the message that we want to put out there. And then and only then do you develop the key messaging and write the copy that is going to really help you elevate your talent offer and your employee experience. So first thing, is it an EVP? If you feel like it's not, don't despair. There are lots and lots of ways that you can rescue an EVP. There are lots of ways that you can build on what you already have and craft it, but it does take some expertise. So if you're interested in getting some support with that, give us a shout. The second part of this is, you've got an EVP, and I see this quite often, organizations who've invested in EVP, and then it sort of ends up just being, they put it on their website or in their job ad, or they have it in a policy document, and that's it. That will not drive results. So the next piece is really to focus on your strategy. And ideally, you're really thinking about strategy before you develop your EVP and during that EVP development and crafting. One point I want to make very, very clearly is I don't believe in launching an EVP. Sure, you can have a little party and you can give people keep cups with the lead line on, or that's okay. But your people aren't really going to punch the air with excitement that you've developed an EVP. There are really great ways to launch or to reveal an EVP and to share it. And I'll put some content out about that separately. But most importantly, when you're talking about turning an EVP into results, what we're actually saying is, first of all, how are we going to embed that? How are we going to embed that in our ongoing recruitment marketing and our talent shopfront, our website, our socials, our job ads, etc.? How are we going to embed it in the candidate experience? A great EVP should be really prevalent in your interviews, in your candidate communications, even when you're offering a role. And critically, how are we going to embed that EVP in the ongoing employee experience? Now, many people have heard me say this many times, the early days and weeks of somebody's employment with you matter immensely. If you can get that right, then the rest will follow, and you'll see lower attrition and more people sort of hitting the ground running. But either way, even through that process, you should be embedding that EVP throughout the recognition and reward programs, the ongoing learning and development and training, of course, the onboarding and induction of new hires, but also the harder conversations. So all of those things should happen, and you should be embedding it. And next to that, you can start to say, well, if we're embedding it here and here and here, how are we going to amplify it? And of course, that is about channels, and everybody will think about LinkedIn, or many of you will, and LinkedIn can be a very, very powerful channel. And you'll think about your other social media and so on. I really want you to take a step back and really say, who are the audiences that we're actually trying to engage? So first of all, what are we trying to achieve? What are our goals and objectives around talent attraction, whether it's ongoing, driving a talent community, driving up brand awareness and appreciation and affinity externally about us as an employer, or whether it's really the hard stuff around turning that into applications from the right people. And then what about that candidate experience? What about that early hire experience and employee experience? So what are we trying to achieve? And who are the audiences that we're trying to connect to? When you understand from a recruitment point of view, for example, who are we trying to connect with? Who do we want to hire? Who are they? Where are they? What's their life stage? What are the personas? What are the types of audiences and segments that we have? And what matters to them? Then you can map your EVP against that and say, well, how does our EVP, how does our talent offer our employee experience solve their problems? How does it add value to them? How does it help them achieve the emotion, the career highlights, the journey that they want? Now, you should have done loads of that as part of your EVP process, but if you haven't, jump in and do that. And then you can start to say, well, what is the right content to put out there? An EVP without content is pointless. It's just some messaging on your website. The EVP should form a structural foundation and an umbrella and a catalyst, if you like, to get out there and tell stories. When you are thinking about those stories, and so once we've got our plan, that third point is the storytelling. When you're thinking about your stories, really reflect on, again, how am I going to add value to the audiences I'm talking about? Now, here's the hack. When you share stories about your team, about your individuals who work for you, about their journeys, about why they're with you, about what they've overcome and what they've achieved and how they feel today. When you do that, there is no better way to, of course, attract talent, but it's also an amazing way to drive pride and connection among your team. You would be amazed. We have seen consistently with tangible data that this stuff will drive up engagement, drive up retention, and also support you in driving performance from your teams. So really reflect on what kind of content will work for your audiences. We will look at an array of content, short form, longer form. We'll think about stories about humans and people. We'll talk about themed content about our culture or our cultures. What does growth mean here? Where we're heading and what it means for you. So creating themed content like that. And of course, considering different media. So of course, videos are very, very powerful. Written content, long form, short form. Visual stuff, live experiences. There are so many ways you can bring that story to life. But let's bring it back to that second point. What is the plan? And the biggest piece of advice I have for you in that is, number one, focus on the audiences, what matters to them, not just what you want to say. And number two, be realistic. What can you achieve based on the context you have? If you're partnering based on the budget you have, what is realistic? We help organizations with very, very small budgets or very big budgets to get really great results, but you have to build the service and the level around what is going to get ROI for you. So if you're interested in having a chat about how we can help you, give us a call. Thank you.